Today, I'm going to speak to you about something that can literally change your life. You're not going to learn it in a textbook. You're not going to learn it from a counselor, and you're most likely not going to learn it from your family. But you have something inside of you that is the most powerful tool that people do not tell you that the multimillionaires and the multi-billionaires know about. But first, let's talk about moments in your life. And I'm not talking about those moments that take your breath away where you are so excited, or you've won an award, or you've gotten a promotion, or you're in the relationship of your dreams. I'm going to talk to you about a moment in your life when you realize it's not working. And the severity of that awareness of awakening to, I'm in trouble and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to make this better. And I don't know what to do. What I've been doing doesn't work. You've either had that moment in your lifetime, or you've had a few, or you will have one. And I'm going to share with you what I did that you can do in overcoming it. My moment was in a bathtub in Florida. And I had invested everything I had with what I figured out in that moment, in the warmth of that bathtub, which was the only comfort that I knew, that I had been stolen from, and I had been scammed. And I was now homeless. I lost everything. He was a Bernie Madoff clone. And I'm in that bathtub and I'm realizing you have nothing. All you have is a car and your clothes. And what are you going to do when life is not working, when you realize your relationships aren't working? When you realize that who you are and how you've been functioning have led you to a precipice of going nowhere or losing. Might be a relationship, it might be a friendship, it might be the job is not right, it might be homelessness, like it was for me. And in that moment, I had a big decision to make. Was I going to end my life, which I really thought about, because as a spiritual teacher, I'm thinking maybe you've gone as far as you can go in this life and there's nothing else. So just relieve yourself of the pain. Or, spoiler alert, you see I'm here. I stayed. In that moment of making that decision of do I stay or do I go, I decided to go. And I was going to say goodbye to the people that meant the most to me without them knowing that I was coming to say goodbye. But as I made that decision, within moments, a divine intervention happened, and my best friend sent me $1,300 out of the blue. Well, to a homeless person that's realizing you're not going to get your money back, I went, okay, it's not time to go. And then my two children called within 5 minutes of each other in a panic. Mom, what's going on? I didn't tell them that I decided to stay, but I came to this realization. You cannot live the way you've been living. And I'm going to talk to you about how I lost that and how you lose yourselves. You see, when I was 11 years old, I had a supernatural experience. I invited love in my heart, and the next morning I woke up and I am remotely viewing my entire household at 11 while lying in the bed. I can see my father at the coffee maker. I know what he's thinking. I know my sister is still sound asleep. She's about to get into trouble. I can hear the thoughts of my mom and how she's going to punish the sister. I didn't know what this was, but all 5 of my senses awakened. You have 5 senses. And I didn't know what the name of it was then, but it's called intuitive intelligence. And if you learn to use it, if you learn how you naturally receive information, what I'm sharing with you today is not unique to people like me. It's not rare. It's not for geniuses either, even though the geniuses know about it and they talk about it. Steve Jobs said that your intuition is far more important than your intelligence. And Albert Einstein said that we have created a society that honors the servant, which is the mind, and has forgotten the gift, which is your intuitive abilities. You see, they saw things before they came. So what I had done in my childhood was, being the freak in the room, I started hiding, concealing, and not feeling. I stopped using those abilities because people had strong reactions to me. I would know things about their lives that either they didn't know or they didn't want to talk about. And I felt myself traumatized. So I pulled in and I decided not to use those abilities, which includes discernment, foresight, insight, and the ability to really see what's coming or hear words that people don't say. Had I been tuned in, tapped in, had I not denied it, had I not pushed it away, which all of us are taught to do, be quiet, don't say that, don't be different, don't make us uncomfortable, don't know more than we know. You are hiding a part of it too, most likely. I knew in that moment when that intervention came and my 2 children called, I knew that I had to step up and re-embrace those abilities. I knew that the only way that I was going to recover from 50 cents in my checkbook, I couldn't even go to McDonald's, was I was going to have to go back into my abilities, my intuition, which you all have through your 5 senses, and start living with it and embracing it and really practicing manifestation. So I'm going to tell you what happened. I ended up going from homelessness to making some money. I wasn't making a lot. It was $55,000. And then I decided to go even deeper, and I want to get rid of the $60,000 credit card debt from being homeless. And I want to do it by December. This is January the 1st, 2019. Within 9 months, using my intuitive abilities, I went from $55,000 the previous year before to $294,000 within 9 months. I know what it's like to not be using who you are, to not be in that authentic power, that magic presence. And every single time I place my order and I tune into those intuitive abilities and I set a goal for a salary or serving, which comes back to me in money, I achieve it every time. And so can you. And the way to do it is your 5 senses is seeing. And when you see, clairvoyance, it is not only through the physical, you see things that people do, you see how they look at you, you see their body movement, you see how, FBI and CIA have studied all of this. It's kind of interesting how when somebody's lying, they look down into their left, seeing it. But it's seeing the non-physical. It's seeing what Steve Jobs did that most of us hold in our hands. I see it. Every single thing you touch is seen by someone before you see it. You have that ability. And then hearing, which is actually not in the ear, it's behind the ear, right here on the bone. And I had this beautiful coach that was an opera singer, double Grammy nominated opera singer, very famous around the world, Monique. And she was talking to me about doing a TEDx style talk. And she said, I want to understand this. And I said, well, you're clairaudient. You can hear. And it goes really well with your profession. And she said, explain. And I said, well, it's in the bones back here. She starts weeping on the call with me. And I said, what's behind the tears? She said, right before the curtain rose, I would be rubbing these two bones. And now I understand. I knew. That's your innate knowing. Now there's three more. There's smelling. You have probably said in your life, I smelled a rat when that person talked. That's clairscent. Clairgustance, tasting. People with indigestion issues don't like tasting the essence of what is going on in their lives. Allergies, all kinds of things. Clairgustant people. You have the abilities within you, and then there's clairsentience that I use my hands, but clairsentience is all over the body. You feel things. And there was one time in my daughter's life, she's 15, and I'm hearing about you got to protect your teenagers between 13 and 15, especially the girls. So I took her to this protection class, self-defense. And this detective is teaching the class. And when I had a moment, because I was studying this theory, I said, I want to know something. She is now 40, and this was when she was 15, so this is a long time ago. I said to him, at once, in all of the crimes that you have investigated, once did you ever not hear someone say, I knew not to go in that alley. I knew not to go in that hotel room. I knew not to go to the bank at that moment. And they ignored it. And he paused. And he looked around the room for a minute and he said, not once. They all said it. So your intuitive abilities are not only to protect you, but to help you to have discernment, to help you to have the clarity, to make the decisions with ease, not questioning yourself. Questioning yourself is a form of self-abuse. It's the most painful thing I know in working with thousands of clients. But what if you used your abilities that you have just like me, and you developed them and you trusted them, and you made very clear decisions and you became even more successful at what you do than you ever dreamed? I want you to start thinking about ways that you have ignored, not paid attention to, not validated, which is what I did, which got me homeless. But you know what? If I saw that man right now, I would hug him and say, thank you so much for ripping apart my life so that I could be who I am today. And this is what I do with clients. If you are knowing that there's something more than how you've been living, you know something's not working, that is your innate knowing. Trust it, believe it. And I am here, not to teach you something new, but to help you remember something ancient inside of you that is the biggest asset and tool you have.